Hello. In this video we will be discussing the WCS Payment Request Form and the tabs that are related to banking instructions that determine where to send the payment to the employee, vendor, or overseas institution that is being paid by the payment request form being submitted. In this instance, we already have a completed payment request form with an invoice attached. For the purposes of our discussion, we'll pretend that we're paying either an employee or a vendor or an institution overseas. Let's take a look at these tabs. In the Employee EFT form and in the Vendor EFT form, we have PDF versions of the files available for you to access and complete. Here in the Employee Direct Reimbursement Setup form, if you double click on it, you'll see hash lines going across it. That means that the file has been opened in Adobe Acrobat. Open Adobe Acrobat and you'll see the file. Here you can print it out and complete it. You can't complete the form within the payment request form because we actually need the wet signatures on the form to show that the individual has provided his banking instructions and authorized WCS to pay him by direct deposit into his bank account. Here's the form for first-time request for EFT payments or to change his banking instructions. The employee will complete his name and address, put in an email address where he wants our accounting system SAP to email him every time a payment is made, and his banking instructions, his bank name, the routing code, the account number, and the name on the bank account. Remember, the name on the bank account could be different than his name, could be a joint account with a spouse. We need the name on the bank account. And then the person should print his name and sign the form. Now, they can either provide it back to accounts payable by uploading it here by clicking on add additional PDF backups. They would need to scan it and then it will show up here in this section of the PDF backup underneath the invoice of whatever they are requesting to be reimbursed for. Or they can email it directly to Treasury by sending it there. Email WCS Treasury. Now, to complete the banking information, here in this tab we have some helpful information about how to get the routing number and the account number. On the Vendor EFT tab, we also have a form just for vendors. Again, if you double click on it, you can access the form in Adobe Acrobat, print it out, have the vendor complete it, give it to you, they should sign it, and again you can upload it to the PDF backup tab by clicking on the additional PDF backup documents button. Or, as the form says, they can email it directly to purchasing at wcs.org. Now, for individuals or institutions or businesses located overseas, we have this form here where you can go and provide the wiring instructions for where they should be paid. You don't need to provide this every time you submit a payment request for that particular person or individual or institution. It only needs to be submitted when it's being added or changed. In this instance, you would put in the account number, the vendor's name, their address, and the email where they want their remittance form to go. The bank information, the bank name, the SWIFT code, the bank address, intermediary banks are only needed in instances where we're sending US dollars to a foreign country, and an intermediary bank is needed. Intermediary banks are also needed in very select circumstances, but will hardly be used. Here we've got enough information to pay the individual. We have their bank account, the name on the bank account, and the bank where to send it. Special instructions can be included here. Now, if you are including the employee EFT or the vendor EFT form, or completing this form in general, here on the main page of the payment request form, under special instructions, you might want to say new wire instructions. See International Payments tab. Or you might want to say new EFT instructions, EFT instructions. See PDF backup tab. So much for my capitalizations there. And that's it. You'll send the form off to your supervisor for approval, and they'll send it to accounts payable. And that's it with respect to changing banking instructions. Remember, you only need to provide them the very first time for you're submitting an expense for new vendors, or only when there are changes to be made to their payment instructions. Thank you very much.